this is Datila, and welcome to the TNA Post Show. As always, I'm joined by my co-host. He is the fifth Rascal. He's the star of the show, the one and only Burt Macklin.
Lovely introduction as always. How are you?
I'm good. And yourself?
I'm good.
This is the Go Home Show to Slammiverse, and you know what? We had to bring in a very special guest because the Rascals weren't the only ones that reunited tonight. Please help us welcome our old friend. He puts the Lucha and Lucha Underground, the Lucha and Luchasaurus, the brother and Lucha Brothers. He's the DNA of LL TNA, the one and only Lucha.
The prodigal son has returned. The group is together. Squad is back.
We're all back together again.
2024 is all about unity.
That is so true.
You notice I added this filter that makes it look like I'm crying. It's just a filter.
Oh, so I'm not real tears. So those aren't real tears. Like
they are.
Need the emotion.
They are.
All right. Before we kick off talking about tonight's show, let's talk about NXT real quick. Vic Joseph on commentary said his name. You know what happens when you say his name? Joe Henry appearing on NXT during the Gallows versus Rascals match. Thoughts on this?
First of all, I like how they played the Rascals music. That was dope as fuck. They got a great pop. Goes to show you, like I've been saying, the NXT fans are a lot more knowledgeable, I think, of other products than the main roster fans. And yeah, no, this was great. Like, trios matches in general are just on fire right now, and I think no company does them better than, as well as TNA. They're really great at it. Let's get those belts going. But yeah, no, this was awesome. I'd like to see Gallows in TNA eventually. But yeah, this was great.
What about you, Lucha? What are your thoughts?
I still struggle to accept that this is reality. You know what I'm saying? We're getting so much just casual TNA and NXT coming together. You know what I'm saying? Hey, why is Booker T such a hater on Joe Hendry though? Like, why does Booker T not believe?
Who knows? We got Ayo. What's up, Ayo?
Word.
Night of OA. What's up? Loving that NXT TNA crossover so far. Yeah, it's been super fantastic. Thanks for stopping by. Ayo, NXT TNA. Yes. Thank you guys so much for stopping by.
I also just think real quick, I think Joe Henry also proved that he has a future in being a commentator after he's done wrestling. He was great.
You saying, so you trying to say he coming for Wade Barrett job? You sitting here trying to start fires, Bert? Like, what are we doing?
No, I'm just saying that I think you'll be able to say his name a lot longer than just when he's wrestling. He'll be around a lot.
I'll be back, you guys. Hold on. Keep the show going.
Oh, snap. We got the keys to the car. All right.
I really just to go into the whole NXT TNA partnership. And I think because this is kind of like I've been seeing more and more discussions on it. And I'll fully come out and say WWE's treating TNA way better than AEW ever did. You know what I mean? And I think it's because this isn't main roster WWE working with TNA. Although we did see Jordan in the Royal Rumble. This is WWE's TNA working with TNA. So I think that there's a lot more room to play with in terms of what you can do roster-wise. You know what I mean? Because regardless, if it was main roster WWE, I wouldn't see them wanting anyone from TNA to go over. But NXT is a little different. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's still developmental. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I kind of disagree in that regard because it's like, I mean, is with how Triple H and Shawn are pretty much running things between main roster and NXT, as long as it makes sense for the story, for whatever story you're trying to tell, for whatever moment you're trying to do, anything's on the table. I mean, that's not saying that, you know, fucking Moose is gonna come through and pin Roman Reigns. That's, come on now. But I mean, if it made sense within whatever story either TNA or WWE was trying to tell, then it would for sure happen. Just like, for instance, with Drew being suspended, say he was to come over to TNA and go for the world title. You know, he's going to get all the way up to the world title match, but he's not going to win the world title. Not because, you know, TNA ain't going to want to put him over, but it'll help to the story that WWE's trying to tell when you have Punk show up and cost him the match. So anything will make sense as long as the story's right.
Yeah, I definitely do agree with that. Yeah. There are a lot of stories, and yeah, like I said, there's a lot of stuff they could do with this. You know, in terms of, it would be nice to see some of the women from NXT come over to TNA and try, like you had said, and bolster that Knockouts tag team division.
You know what I mean? And I forget who her partner is, or the chick who she's
Jasmine Nix, and she also has kind of a faction going with Fallon Henley. It's very and it's also very Beautiful People-esque, where that would totally play in TNA. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like, you know, and it's an opportunity because it's like, how I look at it, what TNA gets out of it is TNA already has a reputation of like picking people you never even really heard of, and then within 2 years they're like a household name, to where then when it's time for them to be a free agent, they're like, oh my god, we should go get, you know what I'm saying? Like 2.5 years ago when we signed Joe Hendry, you can go look at the daggone Twitter. It's like, oh man, this is a joke, this guy's not gonna be nothing. That's probably, you know what I'm saying, the case. I mean, you fast forward to now, seeing not only how Hendry's performed, but how what the position TNA's put him in to even get here in the first damn place. They have a reputation of building. So, you know, if there's someone over in NXT, like say Kalani Jordan, you know what I'm saying, you want to get Kalani Jordan right and ready to be either that chick in NXT or to be ready for the main roster, send them over to TNA, have her defend the North American title, put on some bangers, you know what I'm saying? And then by the time she goes back,
part of me also thinks too that this is like another way for WWE to kind of keep tabs on tab. They're almost like creating a pipeline. You know what I mean? And like I think it's more feasible now with this partnership that you're going to see people when they're ready from TNA go to WWE rather than AEW, just because of this working relationship.
And then on the flip side, because there's two sides of the pipeline, because another thing that TNA's has been a place for either people who are kind of like on the downside of their peak, you know what I'm saying, and you want to get the last couple minutes somewhere near the top, but you're not good enough to be at the top of where WWE wants you to be, then they can slide there. Like in fucking 10 years, I'm just bullshitting y'all. Don't be crazy. But like in 10 years, Seth Rollins can come to TNA, you know what I'm saying, and basically be what Kurt Angle was when he came in for the downside of his career type situation, or Sting or whoever.
Yeah. I agreed. I could totally see that. And they're also like, TNA is another place where, like in sports, like when a player might not do well in a big market like the Yankees or the the Lakers, they're going to go to a smaller place and shine, and that's TNA a lot of the times.
And then also with them working together, it's like just because Joe Hendry goes to WWE and goes on the main event WrestleMania or whatever the hell he ends up doing, you can still get him in TNA. Like he can pull a pop up You know what I'm saying? Or in reverse, whoever goes from Seth Rollins can come back to WWE is like, oh my God, Seth Rollins is here. Ah.
Yeah, yeah. Totally agree.
Oh, okay. So this Night of OA, I want Ethan Page to appear on TNA for that North reunion or vice versa. I was thinking Josh Alexander was going to appear at the end of NXT Heatwave. The longer it goes, anything is possible. Main roster talent included, yep, Shucky Ducky Quack Quack.
Quack, quack.
This partnership is better for TNA. It's not like they are being screwed. Their talent's getting to shine on their day and vice versa. Joseph agrees with you, Burt. You're 100% right. Grace is getting out of her contract 6 months early. I think more could get out. I can see Joe Henry succeeding in WWE. To be honest, I'm surprised they aren't sending main roster talent to TNA. I am waiting for that. I'm still waiting for AJ Styles to go to TNA. But I cannot wait to see what else they do. Joe Henry, that interaction with Gallus, they said his name. I think there's something there.
You're gonna. My prediction is you'll see AJ Styles when it comes time for TNA to announce their Hall of Fame, because it'll just be easier now for AJ to appear. I don't know if he has a match. Obviously, that'd be awesome. In my head, I think the best thing for the best match for him to have would be to come over and put over Kazarian when Kazarian is world champion, because I do think Kazarian's going to be world champion. Again, this is just me booking way down the line. I've thought about a bunch of different scenarios, but no, I do think AJ will appear when it's time for him to be. When do they announce the Hall of Fame, Lucha?
Usually before Bound for Glory.
Slammiversary.
Okay, and when is the ceremony though?
Bound for Glory.
Okay, so yeah, like honestly, then I can see them announcing AJ tomorrow night. It just makes total sense. I can't think. Obviously, there's a lot of people that are going to be TNA Hall of Famers, but just right now, I think he's one of the names that make a lot of sense. Just
considering everyone who's already in, we're at the point to where we got to get to guys like him. You know what I'm saying? We got to get AJ in. We got to get Beer Money / America's Most Wanted. James Storm should legit be a 2-time TNA Hall of Famer because of what he did between AMW and Beer Money.
I could also argue that Bobby Roode should be a 2-time Hall of Famer with before and the It Factor run and his time in Beer Money. I think Bobby Roode should be with Team Canada before. I definitely think Bobby Roode should be a 2-time Hall of Famer as well.
Bobby should go in, by himself, and then Beer Money should go in too. And it would be dope if they did it like 1 year, America's Most Wanted and Bobby Roode as a solo guy goes in, and then the next year Beer Money goes in, and then you get that. Or hell, do it all in one ceremony. Fuck it.
Speaking of another WWE Bobby that should go into TNA Hall of Fame, Bobby Lashley should be a Hall of Famer.
Yo, Bobby Lashley show back up in TNA with this crossover. I'm gonna lose my mind.
See this? Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, if he brought the Street Profits with him, I would definitely mark out.
There's only one guy I want, and that's Truth. I need Truth back. Hall of Fame. You can put Truth in. You know what I'm saying? He held the world title during Asylum era.
I wouldn't mind if if TNA put the world title on him if he came back. Give him another run.
I'll calm down on that. I would give him the DMC though.
That's fine.
I'll give him the DMC, and he will for sure be the second greatest DMC of all time because TNA Jay Francis is number one. That's undisputed.
Night of Oasis, haha, yes, Truth.
I have a lot to say about AJ Francis when we get to that point.
Definitely. All right. So now let's say things off talking about Explosion. We got Kelly Madden and Vicious Vicky versus Spitfire. This was kind of just for Spitfire. I thought this was a good match. Honestly, let him do one of those classic spots where he thinks he's in the match, but he's not. Oh, that would be so great.
Have him do King of the Mountain spot.
Oh yeah.
In an Ultimate X, he goes and tries to like hang. He comes out with another belt like a replica or whatever, that he gets up on the ladder, goes and hangs the belt on the X. It's like, Truth, what are you doing?
That'd
That'd be brilliant.
So I think this was a good match. Spitfire obviously picking up the win as they head into Slammiversary for their rematch for the Knockouts tag titles. I felt like they've been using a lot of Knockouts tag teams on Explosion. We need to sign some of them. You know, we need to sign some of these Knockouts that they've been using.
We need to find a Knockouts version of Saint and Sinner and Saint. Because those dudes, in 2 losses that I saw out of them, impressed the hell out of me. And I'm glad they got signed up. But yeah, we need a female version of Sinner and Saint, basically.
I watched them real quick on Sinner and Saint. I watched them over the weekend at the Prestige Wrestling show. They're the tag team champions. They seem to be in a faction with Allen Angels there. I don't know why that's not taking place on, because the names.
Give it time, kid. You gotta let people, you know what I'm saying, get marinated within the plan.
Okay.
But that's dope. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Me neither.
And I need it now.
Yeah. Check out Prestige Wrestling.
Facts.
Okay. So I think next year fans will be more fans of Sinner and Saint. I'm surprised they haven't signed more of the jobbers they bought in to make Ash by Elegance a credible challenger for Jordan. That still irks me. Sorry, Ash versus Jordan at Slammiversary. Look, I've talked about this. We've talked about this. I like Ash by Elegance. I praise her character, and this is not me being a hater. I praised Ash by Elegance. If you guys watch this show, you know I praised Ash by Elegance. I said I like her character, but I still believe that Ash by Elegance versus Jordan Grace should not have been the Slammiversary match. You could have had that on tonight's episode of NXT of TNA. This is not the Slammiversary match.
It's partly TNA's fault, and again, they rarely have mess ups like in terms of, especially in the knockouts. They didn't mess up, but there's really not anybody that they have built up that you look at and say, okay, Jordan could lose. You know what I mean? Like, unless they're planning on like a big surprise, someone coming out there, like if Jordan, let's just say they have Jordan squash Ash, and then we get a bigger challenge. That would be dope. Just because, again, I don't see nothing has been put in front of me that says that Ash is going to win.
I agree that this shouldn't be a Slammiversary match. I honestly would have put this. I'll be nice. I'll say this should have been like against all odds. You know, this is a dope plus special match, not necessarily like a big 4, but hey, kudos to them. They stayed committed. You know what I'm saying? They stay committed, which means something's gonna happen. They're gonna do something. I don't know if that means give Ash the belt. Please no. They're gonna do something. You got to. And then as far as like getting more women in, getting more knockouts in and all that stuff, I mean, I'm just be honest, they're all signed up down in Jacksonville, chilling on Ring of Honor or Rampage, whatever. There's not, you know what I'm saying? And then whatever does get up gets immediately scooped up by either WWE or AEW. So, I mean, you just kind of got to rock with what you got. And then they were a victim of 2 very sad things happening. Not sad, that sounds crazy. But Kylan King's injury kind of fucked him a little bit. Kelly going on this hiatus kind of fucked him a little bit. Like, if it was one or the other, we feel like we might have been all right. But for both of them to happen, it's just like, damn.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. To supplement them not having signed teams, I do think that's where their tape schedule, like, especially where they work a lot of areas that seem like that they're very drivable or quick. They need to start using a lot of the local talent that works in that area. You know what I mean? Like that's how you get around That's how you get around it. And use them a little bit more than just one show, especially that way you get the knockouts on TV more.
I see. Joseph says he agrees with me. He's glad Dana Brooke became matched by Elegance. It's just her body work doesn't scream challenger at the biggest show of the year. Not hating either. Oh.
Iceman is that dude, though. I love Iceman. He's probably he makes me put up with Ash.
But here's the thing, though. Yes, he is great. But she should have had more matches by now to where it doesn't seem so much of a comedy gimmick. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if she was, she should be the top heel in the company right now, and she's not. And not top heel out of all, but she should be the top heel knockout in the knockouts division. And you could say she is, but it doesn't feel like that. Like, I don't see anybody on the roster that Jordan is going to lose to.
I don't either. As far as her being the biggest heel on the roster, at least as far as the females go, to me, just because of association, that goes to Lish. Because she's a part of the biggest heater. She's part of the heater in the company.
That's very true.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next, we get the Around the Ring with Gia Miller. This time it's Travis Williams, a.k.a. Saint. We learned that their finisher, Up in the Clouds, was named after an Australian rock band. And that Gia Miller's theme song is 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton. And then the last match on Explosion is First Class versus Sinner and Zayd. I have to say, like, I'm really digging that they brought back the 2-match format on Explosion, because for a while I hated the 1-match format. I bitched and complained on this show. For anybody that watches those, I bitched and complained about the 1-match format. And I still think they could do so much more with Explosion. I mean, why is AJ Francis not defending every week on Explosion? It's a digital media title. This show airs on TNA app and then on YouTube on Tuesdays. This is digital media.
Well, I got 2 words.
Oh, God, sorry.
I got 2 words for you as far as to help make Explosion even better, and the TNA heads will know this. Spin cycle.
I forgot that.
Y'all remember Spin Cycle? It was like a panel type situation hosted by JB, and JB would have like 4 people on the roster, and there would be just like a bunch of like, it's like whimsical games, and they'll ask them crazy questions and shit like that. It was actually pretty dope. Go check them on YouTube. You just YouTube TNA Explosion Spin Cycle. Watch a couple of them. Okay. Joints are fun.
I'm glad they brought back the 2-match format, because especially now it makes no sense to show stuff from the vault when we're watching stuff, an app that has the vault on it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to see that stuff when I can go watch it after. And also, and in terms of like another thing with the 2 matches, this gives a perfect chance. They should bring back tournaments, and they should bring back Bound for Glory, because Explosion would be a perfect opportunity to have, matches on Explosion every week, tournament matches, especially with the Bound for Glory. Almost, if they should make it, because one year it was kind of uneven. Everyone should have the same amount of matches. It should be similar to the G1, but that's a lot of matches, and Explosion would be the perfect opportunity to have a lot of those early matches. You know what I mean? Like, and it would also drive people to the network.
Burt cooking over here.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely cooking. And I smell what he's cooking. So with this match...
What is he, the Burt? Okay, wait, before we go on, is it Burt Macklin or Burt McLean?
He's not Macklin anymore. He disassociated with Macklin.
Yeah, man, whatever. I still don't believe that bullshit.
Whatever he called Kazarian tonight was funny, too.
That's actually a good idea, Bert. Tournament matches on Explosion. I agrees with you. But anywho, this match with Sinner, Sate, and First Class, I thought was a good match. Sinner and Sate, even though they lost, they still look good in defeat. And I'm still waiting for First Class to challenge for those tag team titles.
Just need a little more momentum. I'm with it. Because if you
definitely.
ain't First Class, you're last.
You're last.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, I'm poor, so I don't fly First Class. I have to fly economy.
I don't fly because I'm scared of heights, and I've seen Final Destination too many times.
That's funny. All right. So let's kick things off talking about the Go Home Show 2 Slammiversary. So it kicked off with the Rascalz and Kushida versus No Quarter Catch Clue. I thought this was a fantastic match. Kushida bailing on the Rascalz midway through this match as he chased after Jonathan Gresham. I will say I felt bad for Zachary Wentz, but I really, really liked the finish. The overhead belly to belly, the neck breaker, and then a dragon suplex by the North Quarter Cash Crew, then picking up the win. I thought this was a great match. What did you guys think of this match?
You go first.
I mean, I know this is your crew, Bert, but I really don't have any sympathy for him as far as Kushida dipping on him to chase Gresham, because, like, I mean, he didn't really have a dog in the fight anyway. Like, he was just there just because he had a cup of tea in NXT, you know what I'm saying? So, Kushida was like, man, this ain't even my fight. I was in here trying to find a cure. I'm trying to save the world. I'm out of here.
Naito boy, since the Rascalz are fun to run. Oh, yeah, they are. I love the Rascalz. Smoke them if you got them. Which
honestly,
I got them.
The fourth Rascal should have been in this match. I don't know why Myron Reed wasn't in this match. You know what I mean? I don't know what his status is with TNA. If it's, you know what I mean, if he signed or like how, but he should have been in the match. Because
someone had to bail on him. Because I mean, it wouldn't have made sense to have Myron and then bail on him, especially considering No Quarter Catch had to get the dub. So
yeah, but I'm glad we're getting. Xavier, Desmond Xavier back in TNA.
You're getting a little ahead of yourself. Hold on, we'll get to there.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
So next,
I've been to Treehouse too.
We got the Treehouse segment for the first time in 4 years.
I cried. I cried. I was like, oh my god.
I was like, oh my god, it's happening. Now, as we know, the 3 Rascalz reunited on NXT. We're going to get a reunion in TNA. Dez, or as he's now known, Wesley, will be joining the Rascalz as they take on North Quarter Cash. This segment, oh my god, I miss our Treehouse segment so much. This segment was hilarious. Trey Miguel poking. He was poking him. He's like, he's not a hologram.
How long has Dez been here?
It took him a while to get that he couldn't call him Dez either. It's wet, you know what I mean? And
I'm kind of like Trey though. I ain't calling him Wes. I'm calling him Dez, even if there was a fight.
Yeah.
So I thought this was such a hilarious segment. God, I miss Treehouse.
Yo, and it was funny too. Like once they agreed to finally light up, and they go to cover the camera and all that shit, and then Dez was like, "Wait, y'all recording this?" And he's like tripping out because he ain't want Papa Sean to see him. You know what I'm saying, lighting it up. Like that's not the kid that Papa Sean knows. So I like that part.
I need TNA and NXT to create some sort of joint trios titles.
Joint.
Because I don't know, it just seems like trios wrestling. There's just a lot of factions, and you know what I mean. I just think trios wrestling's on fire right now. So I would like to see that.
Joseph says, "LOL, didn't realize how much I missed that 70s show. Every time I saw the Treehouse, it made me think of the hangout scene in that 70s show and the 90s show."
We don't acknowledge that 90s show.
That's funny.
No. I'm sorry. That 90s show was the good one. It was that 80s show that we don't acknowledge.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah. That's why he didn't mention the 80s show.
Yeah, see, and I'm the dumbass that, had to bring it up.
Yeah. All right, we get Alicia Edwards versus Xia Brookside. Xia Brookside getting her revenge on on Alicia Edwards here. She was victorious and she celebrated with Spitfire. So is this the beginning of the end for Militia? By the way, great name.
Hey, you remember from back in the power ranking days, all you got to do to get a title shot is to get a fucking random non-title one-on-one victory. So as far as I'm concerned, Xia Brookside solidified herself as the number 2 contender. She's got to find a tag partner.
But last week and this week are both perfect examples of how you do it. Like last week, though, Masha did win in singles action. This week, I have no problem with Alicia winning if there's going to be interference. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what there was. You know what I mean? It's not like she won, like Xia won clean. There was some stuff going on the outside. Spitfire took out Masha. And also, you know, I do think that they need to start having Xia win more matches just because she should be a bigger part of their future going forward as they kind of retool the knockout division if Jordan's going to leave. So, you know what I mean? Some people got to be getting wins. You know, they got to come from somewhere.
But chill out. We got Giselle Shaw.
I know we have Giselle.
All right. I still think Giselle Shaw is going to be the one to dethrone Jordan Grace, but that's just my opinion.
Can neither agree nor disagree.
All right, so we get a quick Mike Santana VNA, and he's talking about how when he came back, he made his intentions clear and he wants the world title. But makes mention that he's going to basically pretty much destroy JDC because he cost him that opportunity. What do you guys think of this?
Santana, another person I've fantasy booked to be world champion. He'll probably be around 2025 when he gets it. There's a lot of other people I've booked ahead of him.
I know the main event scene is like stacked. I don't know who's going to dethrone Moose.
Well, I think Joe Henry. I think just real quick, spoiler. I think Joe Henry, because we'll talk about it more. I think Joe Henry does win on Saturday, and then I think Kazarian beats him down the line, and then after that, I haven't given much thought.
I think next year you'll see Xia grow. Okay, I can see that. So we are treated to a clip of Mustafa Ali greeting fans on the outside until he's attacked by Mike Bailey. This leads to Mike Bailey coming out to the ring and challenging Mustafa Ali. He doesn't want to wait till Slammiversary. He wants Mustafa Ali tonight. And Mustafa Ali basically sets, I guess you can say, a trap for him. Basically makes him do the Secret Service gauntlet, and he says that if he beats the Secret Service gauntlet, he will get him tonight. Well, Mike Bailey made quick work of pretty much, I think he beat 4 Secret Service agents, but then Campaign Singh came out and Bailey had to beat him. Bailey does beat him, and then guess what happens? Mustafa Ali cheap shots him, and he makes that poor ref count the 1, 2, 3. What did you guys think of all of this entire segment?
Well, Mike Bailey must have not had watched wrestling growing up, because this was one of the oldest tricks in the book. You knew Ali was going to be one of the people coming out. Second, why you said he beat 4 Secret Service, I think he like destroyed one of them. Did you see the way he kicked the shit out of him in that first?
Yeah.
Someone check on him. You know what I mean? And then, yeah, like this, I really did like this. This was a home run for me.
From January to right now, this Speedball and Ali shit is the greatest thing TNA's put on our television this year. I mean, no, second greatest, because Joe Hendry had a lot of bangers this year, especially dealing with AJ Francis. But no, like everything they've done has been a hit. Like I loved the part when Speedball tried to get in the car Like that's some crazed, like Speedball's a crazy man, and I'm sure he knows this. And then the whole ring part, it kind of reminded me of like an old kung fu movie where the hero's trying to get to the mean villain, and the villain sends all his henchmen at him, and then he makes quick work of the henchmen, and then there's the right hand man who really don't look like shit, but then he has this crazy weapon, and he gives him some work. It was all it. I forgot I was watching wrestling for a minute. I thought I was watching a kung fu movie. Like it was wonderful.
Io says Bailey did some 2K video game beatdown. Joseph says a payoff would be Speedball becoming king of the exhibition Saturday. Loving this exhibition feud. Oh, hell yeah. This feud has been incredible. And I think it's going to culminate with Mike Bailey defeating Mustafa Ali for that exhibition title.
No. It's not happening.
You think Mustafa Ali... You think Mustafa Ali...
Especially the promo that Ali cut. Yeah, no. And obviously I'm not going to go against what I said. You're looking at Mr. Option C right now, because Ali will be world champion soon as well. I think he's going to cash in Option
C. How many
C.
world titles do you have?
What? Again, yes, there's only one belt, and I've just named you 3 people. There's so many like scenarios I have playing out in my head, and this has been one of them. I think he came to TNA for one reason. I think it's to be world champion, just in kayfabe and in real life. And especially I think TNA is the place that he makes the most sense to have him being world champion. And I think this is the option to do it. So
you give Burt the pin, he's gonna have the world title looking like the WCW title in 2000. Like there's gonna be 2 months that pass by and 12 people have won the world title.
No, these would be long. These would be long drawn out. I wouldn't have everyone be champion for a year, but there's nothing wrong with like a nice 6-month championship reign. You know what I mean? Do you want everyone to be Roman Reigns? How long was Roman Reigns champion? 3,000 days?
Like 1,000-something days.
Yeah. Not everyone needs to be that, but yeah, I get. We don't need that WCW where someone would start with the belt and lose it on the end of the show. Right. I agree with you on that.
All right, so after this, Mustafa Ali basically tried to get his match with Mike Bailey canceled, but Santino Marella basically told him that he needs to show up, or he'll get stripped of the title, and he'll get fired. And he hopes Mike Bailey kicks his ass. Santino Marella is showing a little bias towards Speedball Mike Bailey here.
That's one of the reasons why I think that Mike Bailey's losing. Just because, you know what I mean, there's just a lot of signs, like the way, like, because I just think that Ollie's going to do, I mean, Mike Bailey's going to give him everything, and Ollie's still going to win. You know what I mean? Like, I see Ollie winning clean here.
All right. So next we get the tag team title match. It's the System in the form of Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers versus the Hardys. This was the first Hardy Boys match in TNA in over 8 years, they said?
Something like that.
I say Mustafa going to get booed hard. Yeah, he is. So I thought this was a great match. This was the first of 2 matches to end in disqualification tonight. Jeff Hardy getting taken out by JDC and Eddie Edwards at the end. He got a neck brace and he got wheeled out on a stretcher. And not only that, during the following match, we find out that Rebby got hurt. She said it was JDC. And Dango came back and already he's made 8 enemies. Yeah, he's definitely has made a lot of enemies here.
Yeah, he just don't care.
That's true. That is so true. But the System, well, the Hardys technically won by DQ, but the System spoiled the Hardy Boys' homecoming. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
I like how JDC keeps trying to prove himself to the System every week. You know what I mean? Like Moose congratulated him last week. You know what I mean? Again, it's very Carlito trying to get in the Judgment Day. It's funny to me. Yeah, no, that Hardy pop was dope in the beginning. I mean, I don't know. I think it just kind of goes to show you just TNA, in my opinion, TNA, out of all the places the Hardys went, I think TNA did book them the strongest, singles wise, and maybe not tag wise, but they were treated as big stars in TNA. I know. I think the fans really remember that. No, I really like this match. I liked it more than I thought I was going to, but yeah, I didn't think that the system were gonna lose here tonight. You know what I mean? I didn't think they were just gonna give away a title change on TV. So I think they had to find some sort of creative finish, and this was fine.
And I think it opens the door, depending on what happens at Slammiversary. I think it opens the door for the Hardys to continue their feud with the system.
Yeah, because they don't need the belts for that.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, hey, we got a loop coming up in South Carolina, and I mean, it would be a dope look to have like either the Hardys as tag champs going into that loop, or have them challenge again for the titles in that loop. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
you gotta leave the door open in that regard.
Okay, we get JDC versus Mike Santana. This is a good match. This match also ends in DQ because Santana just decides to throw the rules out of the window and he hits JDC with a chair shot to the back. I don't blame him. JDC did cost him an opportunity at the world title. So he's definitely not done with JDC. I don't think he is.
This is very hardcore back-to-back segments right here. You know what I mean? Two people potentially going to the hospital.
Right?
Because of the same dude.
Since Santana's come back, I think it's been great. They're really positioning him as one of the upper upper card guys. So yeah, I really like this.
Both guys beating in this match. Yup, they both got busted open. Don't piss off a Boricua New Yorker. That's true. Don't piss them off. All right. So we get a Jordan Grace interview, and she's basically talking about a boatload of things. She brings up Trinity and beating her for the Knockouts title, competing in the Royal Rumble, how she's tied with Deonna Purrazzo for the most successful title defenses. She talks about Ash by Elegance, and then the concierge is talking to Ash on the phone, and Rosemary is right behind him. So I feel like maybe we might get a feud between Rosemary and Ash by Elegance just based on this.
I mean, yeah.
You go.
I mean, yeah, because she still has to get her revenge because Ash took out her homie.
Yeah, Ash took out Havoc.
Yeah, so we still had to do that, and then that'll give Ash something to do post Slammiversary. Rosemary doesn't need to have the belt or be near a belt. She's great just being Rosemary. So I wouldn't imagine this feud would need the world title around it. Not saying that's my prediction or anything, but yeah, no, it was. I liked it, and then I also like how it was Rosemary behind them, but it was like two different Rosemarys. She was creepy. I loved it.
You kind of brought me. I wasn't gonna kind of just be like, I didn't really care for this, but now you saying that, like, you could see them having a feud after. I'm more down with that. You know, because there doesn't need to be a belt or anything like that. And yeah. So yeah, in that regard, I did like that. I do like it.
Yeah, I could see that happening. Have Rosemary get her revenge for Havoc. Okay. So, the main event ends up being a contract signing for the 6-way elimination match. As we all know, contract signings, weddings, championship celebrations never end well in professional wrestling. This was no exception. I really like the fact that the camera kind of focused on Joe Henry for a bit as he came out and stuff. Nick Nemeth was not able to be there. He reveals via Titantron that He has a partial torn labrum, but he will be medically cleared in 2 days, so he'll still be competing at Slammiversary. And one of the things I like about this this 6-way match is that there's so many intertwining stories. You had Josh versus Moose, Moose versus Joe Henry, Steve Macklin versus Josh. You had Nick Nemeth feuding with Steve Macklin. You know, you had so many intertwining stories. I really, really love that about this match. Even Joe Henry versus Frankie Kazarian. You know?
Really, the only thing I took away from the people who are going to be in the match is if you're listening to the pop for Joe Henry, if he doesn't win the title on Saturday, then I don't know what the fuck we're doing. You know what I mean? Like,
Daniel says that he believes Joe Henry will be the new champion. Yes. But this contract signing gets interrupted by First Class TNA AJ Francis claiming that he's the main event against PCO. And because of this, you know, I really like the fact that he tells the crowd that they believe the Eagles will win the Super Bowl, and you can hear someone say they did.
You know, I'm going to agree with AJ Francis. I'll ask you a question. Who had 2 belts out there?
AJ Francis.
Who was he the only person with 2 belts?
Wait. Let me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the motherfucking main event right there, then. If you ask me.
PCO?
Well, especially like if PCO is Montreal is PCO's hometown. Like, you could argue that this should be the main event. You know what I mean? Because, like, it's a possibility that they're going to have PCO win. You know what I mean? That would be the biggest pop of the night. I think it'd be bigger than if Mike Bailey won. You know what I'm saying? So, why I don't want... Again, I'll talk more about that part later. But, yeah, no, I'm just saying that as soon as AJ Francis and Rich Homie Swan came out, the star power went through the roof. My scouter broke.
I was looking at Rich. I was like, damn, Rich could really kind of talk some shit. He'd be like, I beat you.
Mm-hmm.
I beat you.
Whatchamacallit? This ends after Josh saves Joe Henry for Moose, and Joe Henry hits the standing ovation to Moose through the table. So I really like that. That was basically Joe Henry telling Moose, you know, because you guys need to remember, Moose ripped the contract from Joe Henry, saying that he was world champion. He needs to sign first. Joe Henry defeated Moose for that digital media to retain that digital media title, or is that a foreshadowing at what's to come at Slammiversary?
I mean, look, yes, Joe Henry beat Moose for the digital media title last year. But also, that wouldn't have happened if Santino didn't decide to be a weenie and reverse the decision, because if you remember, Moose won that belt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, see? I don't know. So, you know, Moose is going to get his back. You trust the system. Why are we even talking about it? I do trust
the system.
But at the same time, though, why I trust the system, I'd rather ride first class. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
I would rather take down the evil empire personally, you know what I'm saying? Like the homie Speedball. But, you know, hey, we all have 3 different main events. It's okay.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's a 6-pack elimination. Moose is in for a long night. He has to survive 4 decisions to keep his title. You know, call me crazy, but remember that interaction with Gallus and Joe Henry in NXT? What if Gallus caused Joe Henry this match?
That could happen. What?
You cooking a little something up there. I mean, trust the fucking...
I have the matches for Slammiversary.
Oh, okay. All right, there's 11 matches for Slammiversary. Just go straight down the card in any order.
Kushida versus Gresham. That's easy. Gresham can't lose right now.
Yeah, I picked Gresham too.
Same. Sorry.
Okay, what's next?
Then we have a fatal four-way. It's Xia Brookside, Giselle Shaw, Fabi Apache, and Tasha Steelz. The obvious winner is Giselle. But I wouldn't have a problem with Tasha winning just because I do think that they need to start having Tasha win more. But Giselle. Easy.
Giselle.
I'm a Tasha Mark, so I'm going to go with Giselle.
Okay.
Then we have Spitfire versus Militia. This is where it starts to all go downhill for the system. I think Militia.
I agree. I think Spitfire regains those tag titles. I think this is the beginning of the end for the system.
But I won't go that far. I won't go that far. Let's calm down now. This is just it for the Militia.
No, I wouldn't have a problem with Alicia at the end of the night being the only one holding gold in the system. Just because I could think that could make her the de facto leader, and I would think that some of the segments would be pretty dope with her.
Are you trying to make Alicia Rhea Ripley?
If when you put it like that, obviously people are going to say that, but you know what I mean? But I think that wasn't done like that before where they all had gold and they all lose it except for her. You know what I mean? So I think that
dynamic, though, would be funny to watch.
Yeah, I think it'd be really cool. So I changed my... I think Militia wins.
I'm sticking with Spitfire.
Same.
We got...
I thought Militia was making Alicia a credible member of the system.
Man, Lish is the system. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's true. We got JDC, the junior member of the system, and versus Matt Hardy.
I think Matt Hardy's going to kick his ass.
Yeah, the G League member of the system, JDC, I think Matt Hardy wins.
Matt Hardy.
The GFW League. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm silly. Yeah, I'm going back.
We got a match that I think could steal the show. Jake Something versus Mike Santana. Why I think Mike Santana is going to win. It's not like they're going to go in there. Personally, me and Dottie have been talking about this. It would make the most sense if Diener's idiot ass comes out there and costs Jake Something the match in some form, and then Jake Something just whoops his ass afterwards, making him a heel just because, again, he should have been heel a while ago. But yeah, Mike Santana wins.
You know, I'm going to add to what you're saying. I do think Mike Santana is going to win. And I've been saying that I think Cody Diener might cost Jake Something here. And it would make total sense for Jake Something to turn heel because ever since he came back, sure, he's had great matches, but really, what has he done? He lost against Sandana when Sandana came. He hasn't won. I mean, he's won matches, but he hasn't won any championships. And him turning heel could finally be like he doesn't give a shit about anybody but himself. And he's going to capture, I could see the X Division title.
I mean, I wouldn't say he's done nothing. He's done something, you know.
Well, he's done something. He just hasn't won gold.
He's kind of slid into that Black to Roost slot as like the big guy in the X Division that never won anything.
That is a crazy way to put it. But I will say that run that they were trying to get going when Taurus fought Trey for the belt and they had that Monsters Ball, that was actually pretty ill.
Yeah, I'm so surprised they didn't give it to Black Taurus. I really thought Black Taurus was going to win the title there.
I'm just saying, I just compared him because there were times where I thought he should have won the title and Jake Something I thought should have won the title, the X Division title, when it was for him versus, what was it, Speedball?
Yeah.
Yes, and he also fought Ali too. I
Okay.
honestly thought he was gonna beat Ali.
Yeah,
I really did.
that'd have been fine.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
Then we have ABC versus Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards. The System.
Oof.
Obviously, I think the System lose here. The way that they've built tension, got them back on the same page, kind of had a little mini run. It's kept off their title, their rematch, just so they didn't have to lose it right away. ABC wins here.
I gotta go also with ABC.
Trust the fucking System.
I do trust the System, but I just don't think that they're gonna start to crumble eventually.
Yeah, because that always happens. But I think there's something else that's gonna crumble before the System starts to crumble, which is why I say the System are gonna retain.
All right, next we have the main event. For the people who can afford it, AJ Francis versus PCO. Obviously, I have a bad feeling that AJ Francis is going to lose, but I'm hoping that he wins. But I'm picking PCO.
God damn it, I'm picking PCO too.
I want to be right, so
I'm going AJ Francis. Not just to be a mark, but like how I see things going down. I don't necessarily see Steph DeLander and PCO being, love might be in the air, but it ain't with them two. And I think shit's gonna come to a head come Slammiversary, and the love of PCO's life is gonna cost PCO.
That's just cold-blooded, Lucha.
Hey. If you ain't first class, you're last. I'm not even first class, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't hate from outside the club.
I'm not hating on first class. I like first class, but I would just feel like I could see AJ Francis losing.
Next we have Jordan Grace versus Ash Pelicans for the knockout.
Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace.
Well, what's going to happen is Jordan's going to be here in probably a minute, and then either Natty will come out, or I could also see a scenario where Roxanne, you flip it, where Roxanne tries to win her belt, and Jordan, that way Jordan can get her win back that way.
Because Roxanne does have a win over Jordan, which should give her a title shot.
That's
exactly.
True.
Bert,
you're onto something, Bert.
You look, you might have 17 world titles, you know what I'm saying, but you got some ideas.
Next we have the X Division the X Division Championship, Mustafa Ali versus Mike Bailey. Obviously, I'm going Ali. There's just too many signs pointing to the fact that he's going to win. Obviously, that thing about baby faces. Well, people don't usually lose in their hometown, but I think if PCO is going to win, it makes more of a sense. And also, you don't need to have Bailey win. So I think Ali's reign is too dominant. He doesn't need to end right now.
I gotta go with Bailey.
It's conditional for me. If Speedball comes out to his regular Speedball theme song, he's losing.
Okay.
If Speedball comes out to Brass Monkey by the Beastie Boys, there's not a snowball's chance in hell he doesn't walk out of Montreal the X Division champ. If Brass Monkey starts playing, you might as well cancel Christmas on Mustafa Ali's X Division title run. You might as well. So it's conditional for me. I can say that much.
If only they bought that song.
Dude, please,
He got
please.
Simple Plan for Zaya Brookside. Is BC Boys cost more than Simple Plan?
Probably,
I would-
yes, especially Brass Monkey. But I mean, just for the night, bro. Just for the night. Just for the night. Look, you can even play his regular theme song after he wins the match. You just gotta play it for him to do that damn entrance.
Yes.
Just for that.
That's the point. Okay, next we have the main event. And is this
We
the
just
first
talked about the main event. What are you talking about?
What?
We just talked about the main event. Ali and Speedball.
Didn't you skip the Rascals and No Quarter Catch Crew?
Oh, yeah, I did. I'm sorry. Yes, we have the Rascals versus No Quarter Catch Crew. Obviously, the Rascals get their win back. Because we need a big Rascal celebration. You know what I mean? It should end with, the boys celebrating in the ring. So, Rascals.
Damn right, we need a Rascal celebration. And I
Smoke
got
them if you got them.
And Burt smoking them because he got them.
I don't got them, so I can't join you guys.
I ain't trying to get y'all in trouble, so I ain't gonna smoke them.
Next, we have our main event, and correct me because I haven't been. I'm not clear on this. Is it the first person who gets the pin, or is it an elimination?
It's an elimination. It's an elimination match.
It should be King of the Mountain, but whatever. It's an elimination.
I think there could be a real argument that because what's the whole thing that like usually the way press conferences, if the babyface goes out like on top, usually they're not going to win. You know what I mean? The way that press conference, I could see Joe Henry. I mean the contract signing. I could see Joe Henry not winning. But like I said, I don't understand why Joe Henry wouldn't win. It just makes total sense. You know what I mean? And also, too, there's just like, I see Nemeth getting his revenge on Kazarian and him, eliminating Kazarian. You know what I mean? And then obviously with Macklin and Alexander, there's history there, like you guys pointed out. I just think it makes total sense for the final two to be Moose and Joe Henry needs to win. He's had the system's number. He's beat them multiple times, as you pointed out, Datila, members of the system. So yeah, Joe Henry has to win. I don't understand how he can't, how he wouldn't.
How he wouldn't would be because the Gallus come out and screw Joe Henry over.
Okay, again, I have no problem with that, but then at the same time, it's like, how many times are we gonna watch Joe Henry lose?
Because I don't know. I mean, I feel like if Joe Henry's going to defeat Moose and win that TNA World Title, it should be a one-on-one match, complete one-on-one, not this elimination match. I mean, I wouldn't mind. Hell, I'm rooting for Joe Henry. I want Joe Henry to be TNA World Champion. I believe in Joe Henry. I believe in 252 pounds of pure motivation, the answer to all of life's problems. I believe in Joe Henry. But I mean, the only way I don't see him winning is if Gallus interferes. But like you said, realistically, if it comes down to Moose and Joe Henry, I want Joe Henry to take it.
Because it's an elimination match and it doesn't really matter because Moose could. I also could see Kazarian winning. Moose doesn't have to be pinned last, usually, and because they're like both heels, you know what I mean. So usually that's where I would say, heel on face, you know what I mean. I could see Kazarian winning. He's the only other person that makes that realistically makes the most sense to put the title on, just based on how they've been booking them. Because I didn't think there was any doubt that Kazarian wasn't going to be a world champion. You know what I mean? There's so much like long storytelling just from him never winning the big one. You know what I mean? And he came back to TNA for a reason. You know what I mean? So I again, it either has to be Henry, Moose retaining, or Kazarian. It's my like long shot.
For me, it's not gonna be Joe, and I believe in Joe
Get
Henry.
out.
I believe. What are you talking about? Sorry.
I'm just kidding.
But no, it's not gonna be Joe, because what did I used to tell y'all on Power Rankings? With the face, it's all about the chase. I think Bully Ray was probably who put me onto that whole shit, and like that really makes fucking sense with the face it's about to chase. Look at fucking Cody Rhodes. Like we waited a year and a half just about for Cody Rhodes to get this belt. And when he did, it was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? The loss at 39 made the win in 40 just.
You basically just quoted Kevin Nash from the WCW when he's talking about why they took the title off Goldberg. He's like, he's like, face with a baby face, you want him chasing the title. As soon as they get it, you take it right back off of them. I almost agree with that point as well. Because
you want to pay to see the bad guy get his ass whooped.
That's very true.
But you also want to pay to see your hero, you know what I'm saying, save the day, and you can't save the day without a little peril.
But while I do think that they waited really too long for Cody, even though it didn't matter, I think we're getting to the point where we're waiting too long with Joe Henry. It hasn't been as long as Cody, but I've been saying it seems like since Joe Henry lost the Digital Media Championship, he's been up and down. It's almost like he's been in limbo. It doesn't seem like they haven't had a clear plan for him.
And you know something? Them waiting too long, it wouldn't be the first time. I still believe that TNA may waited way too long to give the tag belts to Mike Bennett and Matt Taven, you know? And I feel like they gave it to them at the very end, but they were halfway out the door already. So, like, I still think I'm with Bert. It does feel like they're waiting too long, but at the same time, Lucha has a point. So the face is about to chase. So,
and it's not like we're gonna have to wait until Slammiversary next year for him to get this win. Like, as long as we hear the right thing as far as Bound for Glory being in the UK, is like, well, boom, there it is right there.
Yeah, especially
WrestleMania 40.
Yeah, they're going to Europe more. Joe Henry should be the world champion at this point. You know what I mean? Yes, completely agree with you. And to what you said, yeah, I never really thought about that, but because the more when I watch The Kingdom on the other show, I keep thinking how they'd be better in TNA. And yeah, there should have been a moment where Honor No More had all the gold, because as we talk about, there's something about the top faction having, because it's just like they say, whoever has the belts has the power. You know what I mean? That's something they always say. So Honor No More should have had all the belts at one point.
The way the system is booked, that's the way Honor No More should have been built. Eddie Edwards is world champion, the Kingdom as tag team champions, Maria as knockouts champion, and then Vincent and PCO could have been Digital Media and X Division champion.
And if you remember, because I believe that they were in Boston, I predicted Eddie Edwards to win that. Who was the world title match? It was Eddie versus Alexander. I predicted Eddie to win that match, and he should have won that match. You're right. They blew that. This is basically TNA's version of Marvel's What If right here. We're basically rewriting history right here.
Yeah.
We're booking how it should have been. We should have had the pen.
I'm just getting Honor No More PTSD from when I was just waiting for that whole thing to end, because good Lord.
But how great was that song, though?
Yeah.
You mean Eddie Edwards' new theme song? Yeah. That was the best part of Honor No More, was that theme song that went on to be Eddie's heel theme.
You're right. I'll agree with you on that.
Alrighty. So as we get ready to sign off, Lucha, where can people find you?
Well, from One Night Only, y'all can find me and the homie G back in the saddle for the main show, the big show.
Wow, it's the big show, the big match show tonight.
One Night Only for a Slammiversary review. Join me and Jeff on the TNA IW channel, YouTube. It won't be live. We won't, you know what I'm saying, do the whole old school live on Twitch, but we will be on YouTube at about 8, you know what I'm saying, with our thoughts on Slammiversary and everything post Slammiversary. Y'all come check me out. Other than that, I'm on Twitter. Follow me, was it save me _RSK17, something like that.
You forgot your own Twitter handle?
Hey man, I made that shit in like 09.
It's a good time.
Right. But yeah, come check me out, follow me on Twitter. Y'all keep supporting the homies. Shout out to Gerard. Shout out to Mike G. Shout out Diamond Villas, as always.
Bert, what about you? Where can people find you?
Just on Twitter or X at Burt Macklin 11.
His mama named him Twitter, so I'm gonna call him Twitter.
Yeah.
All right, as for myself, you can catch me on my YouTube channel, Rangers of Wrestling, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, the occasional Saturdays and Sundays. I talk all things wrestling, WWE, AEW, TNA. You can follow me on Twitter at Datila_. But for all things TNA, you can catch me and Bert here every Thursday to talk all things TNA. But with that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching. I want to give a shout out to Lucha for joining us here tonight. Thank you to everybody who tuned in and who will participate in the live chat. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever we go live or whenever Body Slam goes live. And we'll see you guys Saturday for Slammiversary. Bye.